poor Nanny comforted a scared little girl at the park, unaware her dad was a millionaire CEO. When a struggling nanny found a scared little girl crying alone at the park, she never imagined that one act of kindness would change her life forever. She didn't know the child's father was one of the wealthiest CEOs in the city. She didn't know he'd been searching desperately for someone who could reach his daughter's guarded heart. All she knew was that a little girl needed comfort. But sometimes, that's exactly where love begins. Before we dive into this incredible story, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss our heartwarming stories. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across Riverside Park as Emma Bennett wiped down the playground bench, her worn sneakers squeaking against the rubber surface. She checked her phone, 4:47 p.m. 13 more minutes until she could take Tommy home and collect her day's wages from his mother. Wages that would barely cover her portion of rent, let alone the student loans that haunted her every waking moment. Emma, watch me go down the big slide," 6-year-old Tommy called out, his gap-toothed grin infectious despite her exhaustion. "I'm watching, buddy. Be careful." She mustered enthusiasm she didn't feel, the weight of her morning shift at the diner still heavy in her bones. 2 jobs, sometimes 3, and still she was drowning. But Tommy didn't need to know that his nanny was 1 paycheck away from disaster. That's when she heard it, a sound that cut through the playground chaos like a knife. A child crying, but not the typical tantrum or scraped-knee tears. This was different, deeper, scared. Emma scanned the playground, her nanny instincts on high alert. There, on a bench near the duck pond, sat a little girl, alone. Her designer dress was rumpled, her dark curls tangled, and her small body shook with sobs that seemed too big for someone so tiny. "Tommy, stay on the playground where I can see you," Emma called, already moving toward the child. "I'll be right over there." The little girl couldn't have been more than 5. She had her knees pulled up to her chest, expensive patent leather shoes digging into the bench as she made herself as small as possible. No adult in sight. Emma approached slowly, the way she'd learned to with scared children. "Hi, sweetheart. I'm Emma. Are you okay?" The girl looked up, and Emma's heart clenched. Those eyes, deep brown and swimming with tears, held a fear that no child should know. I can't find my daddy," the girl whispered. "He's gone. Everyone always goes." "Oh, honey." Emma sat down carefully, maintaining distance but radiating warmth. "I'm sure your daddy is looking for you right now. What's your name?" "Lily." The name came out as barely a breath. "That's a beautiful name. I bet your daddy is very worried about you, Lily. Should we wait here together for him?" Lily's bottom lip trembled. "What if he doesn't come back? What if he leaves like... She didn't finish, but Emma heard the weight of abandonment in those unfinished words. Without thinking, she opened her arms slightly, an invitation, not a demand. To her surprise, Lily launched herself into them, clinging like Emma was a life raft in a storm. "Shh, it's okay," Emma murmured, stroking the child's back. "I'll stay with you until we find him. I promise I won't leave you alone." "Promise?" Lily's voice was muffled against Emma's shoulder. "I promise, and I always keep my promises." They sat like that for several minutes, Emma humming softly while keeping one eye on Tommy. She should probably find park security, but something told her not to move yet. This little girl needed stillness, safety, a moment to believe the world wouldn't crumble around her. "My nanny left," Lily finally whispered. "She said she was taking me to the park, but then she got a phone call and said she had to go. She told me to wait by the fountain, but there were so many people, and I got scared, and then I couldn't find the fountain anymore, and hey, breathe with me." Emma demonstrated slow, deep breaths. In and out. "That's it. You're doing great." "You're nice," Lily said, pulling back to study Emma's face. "Not like Miss Patricia. She always smelled like cigarettes and told me to be quiet." Emma's heart ached. What kind of nanny abandoned a 5-year-old in Central Park? "Well, I think you have a lovely voice. Want to tell me about your daddy? That might help us find him. He's really tall and he wears suits all the time, even on Saturdays. He has dark hair like me and he works a lot." Lily's face scrunched up. He has meetings. Lots and lots of meetings. I bet he's cancelled all those meetings to look for you, Emma said. Should we walk around a bit? Maybe we'll spot him. Lily nodded, but didn't release her death grip on Emma's hand. They stood, and Emma called out, Tommy, we're going to walk around the park a bit, come on. But I'm not done playing, Tommy protested. I'll give you an extra cookie at snack time tomorrow, Emma bargained. 2 cookies. Deal. As they walked, Lily stayed glued to Emma's side. Are you somebody's mommy? She asked. No, I'm a nanny like Miss Patricia, except I don't smoke, and I definitely wouldn't leave you alone. Could you be my nanny? The question was so earnest it made Emma's chest tight. Oh, sweetheart, I already have a job taking care of Tommy here. I don't mind sharing, Tommy piped up, apparently warming to the idea of a playmate. Emma was about to explain how that's not how jobs worked when she heard it. A man's voice, desperate and loud. Lily, Lily, where are you? The little girl's head snapped up. Daddy? A man rounded the corner, and Emma's first thought was that Lily had undersold the suit description. This wasn't just a suit. This was the kind of tailored perfection that cost more than her car. He was tall, probably 6'2", with dark hair that looked professionally styled, even in his obvious distress. His face was all sharp angles and classical beauty, like he'd stepped out of a magazine spread about powerful executives. But none of that mattered compared to the raw fear in his eyes. Lily! He spotted them and broke into a run. His expensive shoes slapped against the pavement, and his tie flew over his shoulder. When he reached them, he dropped to his knees, pulling Lily into his arms so tightly, Emma worried the girl might not be able to breathe. Baby, oh my, I was so scared. Are you okay? Are you hurt? His hands shook as he checked her over. I'm okay, Daddy. Emma found me. She stayed with me just like she promised. For the first time, the man seemed to notice Emma. His eyes, the same deep brown as Lily's, swept over her, taking in her faded jeans, the paint stain on her t-shirt from Tommy's art project, the general air of exhaustion that clung to her like perfume. His expression hardened. Thank you for finding her, he said, standing with Lily in his arms. His tone had shifted from desperate father to something cooler, more calculating. I'm sure you'll be well compensated for your trouble. Emma blinked. I'm sorry. He was already reaching for his wallet with one hand while balancing Lily with the other. How much? 500? 1,000? I appreciate you staying with her instead of... Instead of what? Emma's voice came out sharper than intended. Instead of kidnapping her, selling her to the highest bidder, what exactly do you think happened here? I didn't mean... Yes, you did. Emma's exhaustion morphed into anger. You took one look at me and decided I must want money, that I couldn't possibly have helped your daughter just because she was scared and alone. Emma's nice, Daddy, Lily said, squirming to be put down. She sang to me and helped me breathe when I was scared. I'm sure she did, sweetheart. His jaw tightened. But we need to go now. No. Lily's voice rose to a pitch that made several people turn. I want Emma to come with us. Lily, Emma has her own... No! The word came out as a shriek. Lily threw herself at Emma's legs, wrapping her arms around them. You promised you wouldn't leave. You promised. Emma's heart shattered. She knelt down, gently detaching the little girl. Lily, honey, I said I'd stay until we found your daddy, and we did. Look, he's right here. But I want you to stay forever, Lily sobbed. Please don't go. Everyone goes. Mommy went. Miss Patricia went. Please don't go too. The man's face did something complicated at the mention of Mommy. He ran a hand through his perfect hair, messing it up for the first time. Lily, we've talked about this. Sometimes people have to... I'm sorry. I don't know your name, Emma interrupted. Harrison. Daniel Harrison. The name hit Emma like a physical blow. Daniel Harrison, as in Harrison Technologies, as in the man whose face graced the cover of Forbes last month under the headline, America's Most Eligible Billionaire Bachelor. She was arguing with Daniel Harrison. She'd just accused one of the richest men in the country of... Oh no. But Lily was still crying, still clinging, and that mattered more than Emma's mortification. "Mr. Harrison," she said steadily, "I think Lily's had a really scary experience. Maybe we could all sit down for a minute. Let her calm down before you try to take her home." He looked like he wanted to argue, but Lily's sobs were attracting attention. Several people had their phones out. The last thing he probably wanted was a viral video of his daughter having a meltdown. "Fine," he said tightly. 5 minutes. They found a quiet bench away from the crowd. Lily immediately crawled into Emma's lap, which clearly didn't please Daniel. "Tommy, why don't you play on the jungle gym right there where I can see you?" Emma suggested. Once the boy ran off, she turned to Daniel. "When did her nanny leave her?" "I don't know. I got a call from Patricia an hour ago saying she quit, effective immediately. She said Lily was at the park and hung up. I've been searching everywhere." His voice cracked slightly. "The fountain area was packed. I couldn't find her anywhere." "She was scared and got disoriented," Emma explained. "She ended up by the duck pond." "Mr. Harrison, I don't mean to overstep, but has Lily been through this before? She mentioned her mother." His face shuttered. "That's not your concern." "Daddy, don't be mean to Emma," Lily said, her voice small. "She's the only nice person we've met in forever." "I'm not being mean, sweetheart. I'm just trying to understand the situation." "What's to understand?" Emma asked. "Your nanny abandoned your 5-year-old daughter in Central Park. Your daughter was terrified and alone. I comforted her and helped her find you. End of story." "People don't usually help for free. Then you've been hanging around the wrong people." They stared at each other, some kind of challenge crackling in the air between them. Emma refused to look away first, even though every rational part of her brain screamed that she was having a staring contest with a billionaire. "Have you ever stood up to someone powerful because you knew it was the right thing to do? Drop a comment and let me know." "Emma," Lily said, breaking the tension, "will you come visit me?" "Oh, honey, I don't think—" "Please?" Those big brown eyes filled with fresh tears. "Just sometimes? So I know you didn't forget about me?" Emma looked at Daniel helplessly. He seemed to be fighting some internal battle. "Actually," he said slowly, like the words were being pulled from him, "I find myself in need of a new nanny immediately." Emma's eyes widened. "Mr. Harrison, I already have a job. I'll triple whatever they're paying you. You don't even know what they're paying me. Doesn't matter." He pulled out a business card. "The position comes with full benefits, a generous salary and a signing bonus. Patricia left us in a difficult position, and Lily clearly trusts you. You just accused me of trying to extort money from you. I was wrong." The admission seemed to physically pain him. "I apologize. It's been a difficult day." "Daddy, please." Lily's voice was small but hopeful. "Emma's nice. She smells like vanilla and she hums pretty songs." Emma stared at the business card. The rational part of her brain was screaming. She knew nothing about this man except that he was rich and quick to judge. But the other part, the part that had held a scared little girl and promised not to leave, was louder. "I'd need to give 2 weeks' notice to the Brennans," she heard herself say. "I'll pay out your notice period. You can start tomorrow." "That's not how professional courtesy works." "Emma," he leaned forward, and for the first time she saw past the CEO to the desperate father underneath. "My daughter hasn't let anyone hold her like that since her mother left 2 years ago. She hasn't trusted anyone. Please." The please did it. Billionaires probably didn't say please very often. "I'll need to see the terms in writing, and I have conditions." His eyebrows rose. "Conditions? I won't be on call 24/7. I need Sundays off for my other commitments. And I won't sign any NDA that prevents me from reporting concerns about Lily's welfare." "You think I'd harm my daughter? I think rich people sometimes have different definitions of harm." He studied her for a long moment. "You really don't care who I am, do you?" "I care that you're Lily's father. Everything else is just noise." Something shifted in his expression. "Can you start Monday? I'll have my lawyer draft a contract with your conditions. The Brennans will receive compensation for the inconvenience." Emma looked down at Lily, who was watching with hopeful eyes. "What do you think, Lily? Want to see me on Monday?" The smile that bloomed on the little girl's face was answer enough. "Yay! Lily threw her arms around Emma's neck. "Emma's going to be my nanny. Did you hear that, Daddy? Emma's going to stay." Over Lily's head, Emma met Daniel's eyes. There was something there, relief certainly, but also a wariness that probably mirrored her own. They were strangers bound together by a little girl's need. What had she just agreed to? Monday morning arrived too quickly. Emma stood outside the Harrison townhouse on the Upper East Side, her one good cardigan suddenly feeling shabby against the backdrop of obvious wealth. The building was the kind of pre-war limestone that whispered old money, even though she knew Daniel Harrison was new money, tech money, self-made money. She'd Googled him, of course. 32 years old, built Harrison Technologies from nothing, revolutionized some kind of software she didn't understand. His wife, ex-wife, was a French model who'd left him for a race car driver and hadn't seen Lily since. The tabloids had been brutal. The door opened before she could knock. A stern-looking woman in her 60s stood there, eyeing Emma with obvious skepticism. "You must be the new nanny." "I'm Mrs. Chen, the housekeeper. Mr. Harrison is in his office. He said to send you straight up." The interior was exactly what Emma expected, marble and modern art, and the kind of silence that only money could buy. She followed Mrs. Chen up a curved staircase, trying not to gawk. "Second door on the left," Mrs. Chen said, then disappeared back downstairs. Emma knocked softly. "Come in." Daniel's office was all glass and steel and city views. He sat behind a desk that probably cost more than her yearly salary, looking every inch the billionaire CEO in another perfect suit. 3 computer monitors displayed incomprehensible data. "Miss Bennett, thank you for being punctual." He gestured to a chair. "The contract is ready for your review." Emma sat, accepting the folder he slid across the desk. The number at the top made her gasp. This is too much. It's the standard rate for a qualified nanny in this zip code. I don't have formal qualifications. I've been doing this for 3 years, but I don't have a degree in child development or— "Lily hasn't smiled in 6 months, he interrupted. "She smiled more in 5 minutes with you than she has since her mother left. That's worth more than any degree." Emma looked back at the contract, trying to process the salary, the health insurance, the retirement contributions. It would change everything. She could pay off her loans, help her younger sister with college, maybe even save something for the first time in her life. "Where is Lily?" she asked. "In her room. She's been awake since 5 asking when you'd arrive." He paused. "She doesn't do that. Usually I have to coax her out of bed." "May I see her?" "Of course. But first there are some things you should know." He stood, moving to the window. "Lily has struggled since her mother left. She's been through 4 nannies. She doesn't speak much at school. The therapist says she has attachment issues, which is understandable given that her mother abandoned her." Emma finished softly. His shoulders tensed. "Yes, I've tried everything. The best schools, therapists, activities. Nothing reaches her. Until you." "Mr. Harrison, I'm not a miracle worker. I'm just someone who saw a scared child and helped without wanting anything in return. Do you know how rare that is in my world?" Emma thought about all the times she'd been invisible, serving coffee to businessmen who looked through her, cleaning up after wealthy families who never learned her name. "I have some idea." He turned back to her. "Lily's room is upstairs, 3rd floor, the door with the butterfly stickers. She put them up herself despite Mrs. Chen's protests about the historic woodwork." Emma smiled. "A little rebellion is healthy." "Is it?" He seemed genuinely curious. "I never had the chance to find out." There was a story there, but Emma didn't push. Instead, she stood, contract still in hand. "I'll review this after I see Lily. If she's changed her mind about wanting me here—" "She hasn't." His certainty was absolute. "She asked me to check the window exactly 13 times this morning to watch for you." Emma made her way to the 3rd floor, each step taking her deeper into a world she didn't belong in. The butterfly stickers were silver and purple, clearly expensive even in their rebellion. She knocked gently. "Lily, it's Emma." The door flew open so fast, Emma wondered if the little girl had been waiting with her hand on the knob. Lily stood there in a designer dress that looked uncomfortable, her hair in perfect pigtails that were already trying to escape. "You came," Lily launched herself at Emma. "I thought maybe you were just a dream. Sometimes I dream about nice people, but then I wake up and they're not real." Emma's heart cracked. She knelt down, holding the little girl close. "I'm real and I'm here. Is this your room?" "Yes, come see." Lily dragged her inside. The room was enormous, bigger than Emma's entire apartment. But what struck her wasn't the size or the expensive furniture. It was how impersonal it felt. Everything was perfect, coordinated, adult chosen. The only signs of Lily were those butterfly stickers and a well-worn stuffed elephant on the pristine bed. "It's very pretty," Emma said carefully. "I hate it," Lily whispered, then looked scared. "Don't tell Daddy. He tried really hard to make it nice." "What would you change if you could?" Lily's eyes went wide, like no one had ever asked her opinion before. "Colors. Lots and lots of colors, and maybe pictures on the walls." Miss Patricia said that was childish. Well, Miss Patricia was wrong. Every room needs personality. "Should we ask your dad about adding some color?" "He'll say yes if you ask," Lily said confidently. "He looks at you different." "Different how?" "Like he's trying to solve a puzzle. He loves puzzles." Emma filed that away. "What should we do today? I need to learn your routine." "I don't want routine. Can we just play?" The hopeful note in her voice decided it. "Absolutely. But first, do you have any play clothes? That dress is beautiful, but it doesn't look very comfortable for playing." Lily's face fell. "Miss Patricia said I should always look presentable." "Well, I say you should look like a 5-year-old who's ready to have fun. Let's see what we can find." They dug through Lily's closet, finding a few casual pieces buried behind the formal wear. Emma helped her change into leggings and a t-shirt, freeing her hair from the tight pigtails. "There," Emma said. "Now you look ready for adventure." "Emma!" Lily's voice was small. "Are you going to leave too?" Emma sat on the bed, patting the spot next to her. Lily immediately curled into her side. "I'm going to be honest with you, okay? Because I think you're old enough for honesty. I can't promise I'll be here forever. Nobody can promise that. But I can promise that as long as I'm your nanny, I'll never leave without saying goodbye. I'll never abandon you. And even if someday I'm not your nanny anymore, we'll still be friends. Does that sound fair?" Lily considered this seriously. "So you won't just disappear?" "Never. Cross my heart." "Okay." Lily seemed to relax. "Can we go to the park today?" "If your dad says it's okay, absolutely." They spent the morning in Lily's room playing with the few toys that seemed to have actually been touched. Emma made mental notes. The child needed art supplies, books that weren't educational, games that encouraged imagination. Everything in this perfect room was designed to create a perfect child, but what Lily needed was permission to be imperfect. Around 11, Daniel appeared in the doorway. He stopped short, clearly surprised by something. "Daddy!" Lily jumped up. "Look, Emma fixed my hair so it doesn't hurt, and we're going to the park, and she says maybe we can make my room have colors." "Slow down, sweetheart." But he was almost smiling. "Emma, could I speak with you for a moment?" Emma followed him into the hallway, noting how Lily immediately grabbed her stuffed elephant for comfort. "I've never seen her like this," he said quietly. "She's animated. She's a child. Animation is their default setting when they feel safe. She doesn't usually..." He paused, seeming to struggle with the words. "The playing. She doesn't usually play. What does she usually do?" "Educational activities, piano practice, French lessons. She's 5. I want her to have every advantage. The biggest advantage you can give her is a childhood." Emma softened her tone. "I'm not criticizing. I can see how much you love her. But maybe what she needs isn't more structure. Maybe she needs less." He was quiet for a moment. "The park?" she asked. "I thought fresh air would be good, but if you prefer..." "No, go. Take the car and driver. His name is James. He'll be out front." He pulled out his wallet. "For lunch and anything else you need." "Mr. Harrison, I can't..." "It's for Lily, please." Emma accepted the bills, noting it was more than she usually made in a day. "We'll be back by 2. Is that all right?" "Whatever works best for Lily's schedule." He started to turn away, then stopped. "Miss Bennett, thank you for this morning, for coming back." "I keep my promises, Mr. Harrison." Something flickered in his eyes. "I'm beginning to see that." The park was a revelation. Away from the perfect townhouse, Lily transformed into a typical 5-year-old, running, laughing, getting gloriously dirty. Emma pushed her on the swings, caught her at the bottom of the slide, and didn't fuss when she wanted to look for bugs under rocks. Miss Patricia hated bugs, Lily confided, holding a roly-poly in her palm. She said ladies don't touch gross things. Then Miss Patricia missed out on how cool bugs are. See how it rolls into a ball? That's its defense mechanism. What's a defense mechanism? It's how it protects itself when it's scared. Lily studied the bug seriously. "Like how I get quiet when I'm scared." Emma's throat tightened. "Exactly like that. Everyone has ways of protecting themselves." "What's yours?" Emma thought about it. "I make jokes when I'm nervous." "What's Daddy's?" "I don't know him well enough yet." "What do you think?" "He works more, and he gets that face." Lily scrunched up her features into a surprisingly accurate imitation of Daniel's stern expression. Emma couldn't help but laugh. "That's very good." "Emma," Lily carefully placed the bug back under its rock, "do you think Daddy's lonely?" "Why do you ask that?" "Because he has that defense face on all the time now, even when it's just us, out of the mouths of babes. Maybe we can help him feel less scared. What do you think?" "Maybe." Lily brightened. "Can we get ice cream?" They found a cart near the playground. Lily got strawberry, Emma chocolate, and they sat on a bench watching the ducks. "This is the best day," Lily sighed contentedly, ice cream dripping down her chin. "Yeah?" Emma wiped her face with a napkin. "What makes it the best?" "You're here, and you don't mind that I'm messy." "Messy is part of being a kid." "Emma," Lily scooted closer, "can I tell you a secret?" "Of course." "Sometimes I pretend you're my mommy. Is that bad?" Emma's eyes burned. She pulled Lily close. "That's not bad at all. That's actually very sweet. I don't really remember my real mommy, just that she smelled like flowers, and she was always going somewhere." Lily licked her ice cream thoughtfully. "Daddy says she loved me but had to go. Do you think that's true?" "I think sometimes adults make choices that don't make sense to kids. But I know your daddy loves you more than anything in the world." "How do you know?" "Because of how scared he was when he couldn't find you. Because he hired me even though he didn't know me, just because you asked. Because he wants to give you everything, even if sometimes he's not sure what you really need." Subscribe now if you believe that love comes in many forms, and the families we choose can be just as powerful as the ones we're born into. They returned to the townhouse to find Daniel working in the living room, laptop and papers spread across the coffee table. He looked up when they entered, and his expression went through several changes. Surprise at Lily's disheveled appearance, something softer when he saw her bright smile, and finally a careful neutrality. "Daddy, we saw bugs," Lily announced, "and Emma taught me about defense mechanisms, and we had ice cream, and look." She proudly displayed her dirty hands. "I see." His lips twitched. "Did you have fun?" "The most fun. Can Emma stay for dinner?" "I'm sure Emma has her own plans." "Actually," Emma interrupted, "I'd like to discuss Lily's routine with you, if you have time this evening." He blinked, clearly not expecting that. "Of course. Emma, would you join us for dinner?" "Please say yes," Lily added, using what Emma was beginning to recognize as her puppy dog eyes. "All right, but I need to go home and change first. Someone got ice cream on my shirt." She tickled Lily, who giggled. "James can drive you," Daniel offered. "I can take the subway." "Please, it's rush hour, and you're doing me a favor by staying." Emma nodded, recognizing this was about his comfort as much as hers. "Thank you." Lily, why don't you show your dad your defense mechanism impression while I'm gone? Lily's eyes lit up. As Emma left, she heard the little girl's excited voice and, surprisingly, Daniel's genuine laugh. Her apartment in Queens felt smaller than ever after the Harrison townhouse. Emma quickly changed into her least-worn jeans and a clean blouse, trying not to think about how out of place she'd look at their dinner table. Her roommate, Sarah, was in the kitchen. "You're home late. Wait, why are you changing? Do you have a date?" "Not a date. Dinner with my new employer and his daughter." Sarah's eyes widened. Emma had told her about the job, but not the details. "The billionaire? Emma, be careful. Rich men think they can buy anything. It's not like that. His daughter needs stability, and I'm good with kids. You're also beautiful, kind, and exactly the kind of woman a single dad might notice." "Sarah, stop. He barely tolerates me. I'm just the help who happened to be in the right place at the right time." That's why he's having you over for dinner on your first day." Emma didn't have a good answer for that. The ride back to the Upper East Side gave her too much time to think. Sarah wasn't wrong. The situation was unusual, but every time she thought about keeping professional distance, she remembered Lily's face when she'd asked if Emma would leave. Some things were more important than propriety. Dinner was in the formal dining room, which felt ridiculous for 3 people. Lily chattered non-stop about their day, barely touching her perfectly prepared meal. Daniel listened with focused attention, occasionally glancing at Emma with that puzzled expression Lily had mentioned. "Lily, sweetheart, you need to eat some vegetables," he said gently. "I don't like them when they're fancy." Lily poked at the artfully arranged asparagus. "How do you like them?" Emma asked. "Crunchy, with ranch." Daniel looked helplessly at Emma. "The chef doesn't really do ranch. Maybe we could keep some kid-friendly options on hand. Carrot sticks, cucumber, cherry tomatoes." "Is that nutritionally sound?" "More sound than not eating vegetables at all." He considered this. "Make a list of what you need. I'll have Mrs. Chen order it." After dinner, Lily showed them her defense mechanism impression, which made Daniel laugh again, a sound Emma was beginning to enjoy. Then it was bath time and stories, and the elaborate bedtime ritual that clearly helped Lily feel secure. "Will you be here tomorrow?" Lily asked as Emma tucked her in. "Bright and early. Promise?" "Promise. Sweet dreams, little bug." Lily giggled at the nickname. "Night, Emma." "Night, Daddy." Daniel kissed his daughter's forehead, and they stepped into the hallway together. The house felt different in the evening, softer somehow, less like a museum. "Thank you for staying," he said as they walked downstairs. She's never been that relaxed at bedtime. Usually it takes an hour of negotiation. She just needs to feel heard. Can we talk about her schedule? He led her to his study, less formal than the office, with leather chairs and walls of books. Emma wondered if he ever read them or if they were just for show. "What concerns do you have?" He poured himself a drink, offering her one with a gesture. She shook her head. "She's 5, but her schedule looks like a CEO's. Piano, French, etiquette classes, educational enrichment. When does she play?" "Play doesn't prepare her for the future. Play is how children learn, through imagination, social interaction, problem solving." Emma leaned forward. "Mr. Harrison, what's your happiest childhood memory?" He looked startled. Why?" "Humor me." He was quiet for so long, Emma thought he wouldn't answer. Then, "Building a fort in the living room with my mother, before she got sick. We used every pillow and blanket in the house. She made hot chocolate and we pretended we were explorers. Not piano lessons or French conjugation." His smile was rueful. "Point taken. I'm not suggesting we abandon all structure, but maybe we could balance it better, keep the activities she enjoys, add in more free play, more time to just be a kid. She needs to be prepared." "For what? To be happy? To be confident? To know she's loved for who she is, not what she achieves?" Emma caught herself getting too passionate. "I'm sorry. I'm overstepping." "No." He set down his drink. "No, you're saying what I've been afraid to think, that I'm turning into my father." The pain in his voice made Emma want to comfort him, which was dangerous territory. "You're not. You're here, asking questions, willing to change. That's what good parents do. Is it? He looked at her with those intense eyes. I've been so focused on giving her everything I didn't have. I forgot to give her what I did have before my mother died. Joy, spontaneity, the freedom to be imperfect. It's not too late. She's only 5. And she adores you. She adores you more. There was no bitterness in it, just fact. I saw her today, Emma. The real Lily, not the perfect doll Patricia and the others tried to create. She was luminous. That's who she is when she feels safe to be herself. You can give her that too. Can you teach me? The vulnerability in his voice caught her off guard. I know it's not part of your job description, but I don't know how to play anymore. I don't know how to be the father she needs. Emma's heart ached for this man, who could run a billion-dollar company, but was lost when it came to connecting with his own daughter. Of course I'll help. We're a team now, right? All 3 of us. A team. He tested the word, then smiled, a real smile that transformed his face. I like that. Good. First team meeting is tomorrow after breakfast. Bring clothes you can get dirty. Dirty? He looked genuinely alarmed. Very dirty. We're going to finger paint. I don't think I own clothes that can get dirty. Then we'll start with a shopping trip. Lily needs play clothes too. You're reorganizing my entire life, aren't you? Just the parts that involve a certain 5-year-old. Emma stood to leave. Thank you for dinner, and for trusting me with Lily. Thank you for seeing her, really seeing her. He stood too, suddenly closer than expected. I'll walk you out. At the door, James was already waiting with the car. Daniel helped her in, his hand warm on her elbow. Emma? He leaned down to the window. I'm glad Lily found you in that park, or you found her, however it worked. So am I, she admitted. The drive home was quiet, but Emma's mind raced. She was getting too involved, caring too much. But when she thought about Lily's smile, Daniel's lost expression when he talked about playing, she knew she was exactly where she needed to be. The next few weeks fell into a rhythm that felt dangerously like belonging. Mornings started with breakfast together. Daniel had adjusted his schedule to be there, something that clearly delighted Lily. Then came adventures, museums where they actually touched things, parks where grass stains were encouraged, art projects that covered every surface in newspaper. Daniel joined them when he could, awkward at first in his new play clothes, jeans that still had the tags on, and a t-shirt that probably cost more than most people's entire wardrobe. But he was trying, and that mattered. Daddy, you're doing it wrong, Lily giggled one afternoon as Daniel attempted to finger paint. You're thinking too hard. How do you paint without thinking? Like this. Lily smeared purple paint across her paper and accidentally across Daniel's cheek. Emma held her breath, waiting for his reaction. The old Daniel, the one from that first day, might have frowned. This Daniel touched his cheek, looked at the paint on his fingers, and very deliberately painted a stripe across Lily's nose. Daddy! Lily shrieked with delight. What? I'm not thinking, just like you said. What followed was a paint war that left all 3 of them covered and laughing. Mrs. Chen's expression when she saw them was priceless. The carpet, she said faintly. Can be cleaned, Daniel said firmly. Right, Emma. Absolutely. Though maybe we should move art time to the kitchen tomorrow. Spoil sport, he murmured, but he was smiling. These moments, the unguarded smiles, the easy way he'd started touching Emma's shoulder when he passed, the inside jokes developing between the 3 of them, were becoming a problem. Because Emma was falling for him, and that wasn't part of the job description. You're in trouble, Sarah announced one evening when Emma got home late again. I can see it all over your face. I don't know what you mean. You're falling for him, the billionaire dad. I'm not. Emma, you talk about them constantly. Lily this, Daniel that. You light up when you mention his name. Emma sank onto their second-hand couch. It doesn't matter. I'm the nanny. He's my employer. There are boundaries. Does he know that? Emma thought about the way Daniel had looked at her that afternoon, paint in his perfect hair, laughing at something Lily said, the way his hand had lingered on her back as he walked them to the door. He's just grateful I'm helping with Lily. Keep telling yourself that. But it got harder to maintain that fiction as spring turned to summer. Daniel started working from home more, joining their outings when his schedule allowed. He was a different man than the one she'd met in the park. Still intense, still driven, but softer somehow. Lighter. "You're good for us," he told her one evening, as they watched Lily play in the garden. She'd convinced him to install a swing set, nothing too elaborate, just enough for a 5-year-old's adventures. "Lily's easy to love," Emma deflected. "That's not what I meant." He turned to her, and the look in his eyes made her stomach flip. "Emma, Daddy, Emma, watch me," Lily called from the swing. "I'm going super high." The moment broke, but the tension remained. It was there in every accidental touch, every shared smile over Lily's head, every evening when Daniel insisted on driving her home himself instead of sending James. Have you ever felt yourself falling for someone you knew you shouldn't? Someone completely off limits? Tell me in the comments how you handled it. Everything came to a head on a Thursday in July. Emma arrived to find the townhouse in chaos. Mrs. Chen was on the phone speaking rapid Mandarin, James was pacing the foyer, and Daniel was in his office, voice raised in a way she'd never heard. "Where's Lily?" Emma asked James. "In her room. She's upset. Her mother called." Emma's blood chilled. In 4 months, there had been no word from the ex-wife. She took the stairs 2 at a time, finding Lily curled on her bed with her elephant, tears streaming down her face. "Oh, sweetheart." Emma gathered her close. "What happened?" "Mommy called. She said she wants to see me, but I don't want to go." Lily's voice was muffled against Emma's shoulder. "What if she takes me away? What if I can't see you and Daddy anymore?" "That's not going to happen. Your daddy won't let it." "But what if a judge makes him? Rosie at school says judges can make kids go with mommies even if they don't want to." Emma held her tighter, fury building at this woman who'd abandoned her child and now wanted to disrupt the peace they'd built. "Let's not worry about what ifs, okay? Right now, you're here, safe with people who love you." "Do you love me, Emma?" "So much it makes my heart hurt sometimes." "I love you too, more than anything, even more than ice cream." Emma laughed through her tears. "That's a lot of love." They stayed like that until Lily's breathing evened out. Emma tucked her in for a nap, then went to find Daniel. He was still in his office on the phone with what sounded like his lawyer. His free hand was clenched so tight, his knuckles were white. "I don't care what she says her rights are. She abandoned Lily. She hasn't seen her in 2 years, hasn't called, hasn't sent so much as a birthday card. Now suddenly she wants visitation?" He paused, listening. "Then file whatever we need to file. I'm not letting her hurt Lily again." He hung up and saw Emma in the doorway. For a moment his mask slipped entirely, showing raw fear underneath. "She can't take her." His voice was rough. "I won't let her." "What happened?" "Vivian's getting married again. Her new husband wants children, apparently, and she's decided she wants to play mother to the child she already has." He laughed bitterly. "She called Lily directly. Didn't go through lawyers, didn't warn me. Just called and told her she was coming to visit. That's cruel. That's Vivian." He slumped in his chair. Lily was finally happy, finally settling. And now, Emma moved without thinking, going around the desk to place a hand on his shoulder. "We'll figure it out. Together." He looked up at her and something shifted. "Emma, I know," she said softly. "I know this is complicated. I know I'm just the nanny, but I love that little girl, and I'll do whatever it takes to protect her." "You're not just the nanny." His hand covered hers. "You haven't been just the nanny for a long time." The air between them crackled. Emma knew she should step back, maintain professional boundaries. Instead, she found herself leaning closer. "Daniel." He stood, turning to face her fully. "Tell me I'm not imagining this. Tell me you feel it too." "I can't," she whispered. "It would change everything." "Everything's already changed." His hand came up to cup her cheek. "You changed it. You changed us. You changed me. Your world and mine are the same world now. Our world. The 3 of us." He was so close she could see the gold flecks in his brown eyes, could feel the warmth radiating from him. It would be so easy to close the distance, to give in to what had been building for months. "Daddy?" Lily's voice from the doorway shattered the moment. "I had a bad dream." Daniel stepped back immediately, but his eyes never left Emma's. "Come here, sweetheart." Lily ran to him, and he scooped her up. Over her head, he mouthed, "Later," to Emma. But later never came. Vivian's lawyer called that afternoon, and suddenly Daniel was consumed with legal strategies. Emma focused on keeping Lily distracted and happy, pushing down her own feelings. That evening, as Emma prepared to leave, Daniel caught her at the door. "We need to talk," he said. "About earlier. About us." "There is no us," Emma forced herself to say. "You're my employer. I'm your daughter's nanny. That's all we can be." "You don't mean that." "I have to mean it. Lily needs stability. She doesn't need complications." "Emma, what happens if we try this and it doesn't work? I have to leave, and Lily loses someone else she loves. I won't do that to her." Daniel's jaw clenched. "So we just pretend? Act like there's nothing between us? We be adults, we put Lily first." "I am putting Lily first. She loves you. He stopped, running a hand through his hair. "This isn't over." "Yes, it is." Emma opened the door. "I'll see you tomorrow, Mr. Harrison." Using his formal name was like a slap. She saw him flinch, but he let her go. The next few days were torture. Daniel was polite but distant, throwing himself into work and the legal battle. Emma focused on Lily, who sensed the tension and became clingy. The easy warmth of their little family was gone, replaced by careful professionalism. "Why are you and Daddy being weird?" Lily asked on the fourth day. "Did you have a fight?" "No, sweetheart. Your daddy's just worried about grown-up things." "About Mommy?" "Partly." Lily considered this. "I don't want to see her. Can I tell the judge that?" "You can tell the judge anything you want. But for now, let's not worry about it, okay?" But worry was all any of them seemed to do. Daniel's lawyers were confident they could limit Vivian's access, but it would take time. Meanwhile, the threat hung over them like a storm cloud. Everything exploded the following Tuesday. Emma arrived to find Vivian in the foyer, looking like she'd stepped off a magazine cover. Tall, blonde, impossibly elegant, she made Emma feel like a sparrow next to a swan. "You must be the new nanny," Vivian said, her accent making even that sound sophisticated. "I'm Lily's mother." "I know who you are." "Good. Then you can fetch her for me. We're having lunch." "I don't think—" "What you think doesn't matter." Vivian's smile was sharp. "I'm her mother. I have rights." "You have supervised visitation pending a court hearing," Daniel's voice came from the stairs, "which hasn't been scheduled yet." "Daniel." Vivian's whole demeanor changed, becoming softer, more vulnerable. "Surely we don't need courts involved. I just want to see my daughter." "The daughter you abandoned? The one you haven't contacted in 2 years?" "I was going through a difficult time, but I'm better now, ready to be a mother again." Emma wanted to scream at the casual way she said it, like motherhood was a hat you could take on and off. But before she could speak, Lily appeared at the top of the stairs. "Mommy?" Her voice was tiny, uncertain. "Hello, darling." How you've grown. Come give Mummy a kiss." Lily didn't move. Instead, she looked at Emma with panic in her eyes. Emma started toward her, but Vivian stepped into her path. "I said, come here, Lily, don't be rude. Lily's breathing quickened. "I don't—" "Lily, sweetheart, it's okay," Daniel said. "You don't have to. She's my daughter. She'll do as I say." Vivian's voice hardened. "Lily, now." Lily burst into tears and ran, not to her mother, not even to Daniel, but straight to Emma. She buried her face in Emma's stomach, clinging like she had that first day in the park. "I want Emma," she sobbed. "Please don't make me go. Please." Emma wrapped her arms around the little girl, meeting Vivian's cold stare over her head. "She's scared. Give her a moment." "Who do you think you are?" Vivian's mask slipped, showing ugly anger underneath. "You're the help. You don't get to make decisions about my child. Someone has to, since you haven't bothered for 2 years." Emma. Daniel's warning was gentle, but she was past caring. No. I'm sorry, but no. This woman abandoned her daughter. She left a 3-year-old who already had attachment issues and disappeared. No calls, no letters, nothing. And now she waltzes in here expecting Lily to run into her arms. That's not how children work. How dare you? I dare because I love that little girl. Because I've held her through nightmares about being abandoned again. Because I've watched her slowly learn to trust, to believe that not everyone leaves. And I won't let you undo all that progress because you've decided motherhood might be fun again. The foyer was silent except for Lily's muffled sobs. Then Daniel spoke, his voice like steel. Vivian, you need to leave. Now. You can't. I can. You showed up without notice, without permission, and you're upsetting our daughter. Leave or I'll have security escort you out. Our daughter, I see. Vivian's gaze traveled between Daniel and Emma, a knowing smirk playing at her lips. Playing house with the nanny, Daniel. How predictably male. Get out. His voice was deadly quiet. This isn't over. My lawyers will be in touch. She looked at Lily one more time. I'll see you soon, darling, whether you like it or not. The door slammed behind her. In the silence that followed, Lily's sobs grew louder. Shh, sweetheart, she's gone. Emma rubbed her back. You're safe. I don't want to go with her. Please don't make me go with her. Never, Daniel said fiercely, joining them on the floor. You hear me, Lily? I will never make you go with her. Ever. They sat there in the foyer, the 3 of them tangled together, until Lily's tears subsided. Finally, she pulled back, looking between them with red-rimmed eyes. Can we be a real family? She asked. So she can't take me. If Emma was my mummy, then the judge would let me stay, right? Emma's heart stopped. Daniel went very still. Lily, he started, I know Emma loves me, and I love her. And you love her too, Daddy. I can tell. It's not that simple, sweetheart. Why not? Lily's jaw set stubbornly. You look at her the way Prince Eric looks at Ariel, and she looks at you the same way. And we're already a family, except you're both being silly about it. Out of the mouths of babes, indeed. Daniel's eyes met Emma's over Lily's head. The careful walls they'd built over the past week crumbled in an instant. She's right, he said quietly. I do love you, Emma. I've been falling in love with you since the day you refused my money and called me out for judging you. You've brought light back into this house, into our lives. You've shown me how to be the father Lily deserves. You've made us whole. Emma's tears spilled over. Daniel, I know you're scared. I know you think keeping distance is protecting Lily. But Emma, she's already chosen you, we both have, and pushing us away is hurting her more than any risk could. But if it doesn't work, then we'll figure it out together, like we figure everything out, as a team. He reached out, cupping her face gently. But I think it will work. I think you're exactly where you're supposed to be, with us, forever. Forever's a long time, Emma whispered. Not nearly long enough, he said, and kissed her. It was soft, tender, a promise more than passion. When they pulled apart, Lily was beaming. Does this mean Emma can be my mummy for real? That's up to Emma, Daniel said, never taking his eyes off her face. Emma looked at this man who'd gone from suspicious stranger to the love of her life, at the little girl who'd stolen her heart from the first moment. Her practical side screamed about complications, about the differences in their worlds, about everything that could go wrong. But her heart was louder. Yes, she said. Yes to all of it. To being a family. To loving you both. To forever. Lily launched herself at them, and they held her tight, their tears mingling with laughter. We should probably get off the foyer floor, Daniel said eventually. Probably, Emma agreed, but none of them moved. Can we have ice cream for breakfast tomorrow? Lily asked. To celebrate? Absolutely not, Daniel said. Maybe just this once, Emma said at the same time. They looked at each other and laughed. We're going to have to work on our united front, Daniel said. We have time, Emma replied. All the time in the world. Subscribe now if you believe in second chances and the families we choose. Love doesn't always come in expected packages, but sometimes the unexpected ones are the most beautiful. The custody battle with Vivienne was swift and decisive. Faced with evidence of abandonment and Lily's clear preference, backed by child psychologists who testified about the bond between Lily and Emma, Vivienne quickly lost interest. She accepted a financial settlement in exchange for terminating her parental rights. "She never wanted Lily," Daniel said that night, holding the papers that made him Lily's sole parent. "She wanted to hurt me for moving on." "Her loss," Emma said firmly. "Our gain." 6 months later, on a perfect September day, Emma walked down a flower-strewn aisle in the conservatory garden in Central Park. Lily preceded her as flower girl, tossing petals with enthusiastic abandon and occasionally stopping to wave at guests. "Hi, Mrs. Chen. Hi, James. Look at my dress." The small gathering laughed, full of the people who'd become their extended family. Emma's parents, still slightly stunned that their daughter was marrying a billionaire. Sarah, who'd been saying "I told you so" since the engagement. Daniel's real friends, the ones who'd stuck by him through everything. But Emma only had eyes for Daniel, standing at the altar in a simple suit. They'd banned formal wear for the wedding, looking at her like she was his whole world. "You found me," she said when she reached him. "You found us first," he replied. "In the park, remember? Best day of my life." "Mine too," Lily piped up, making everyone laugh again. The ceremony was simple, the vows heartfelt. Daniel promised to love Emma not in spite of her stubbornness, but because of it. Emma promised to keep him grounded and human and to never let him buy Lily a pony no matter how much they both begged. "I now pronounce you husband and wife," the officiant said, "and officially a family." The kiss was interrupted by Lily tugging on their clothes. "My turn," she insisted, and they scooped her up for a three-way hug that had everyone reaching for tissues. The reception was in the townhouse garden, transformed with fairy lights and wildflowers. No formal seating charts, no stuffy traditions, just family and friends celebrating love in all its forms. "I have a present for you," Daniel told Emma as they swayed to their first dance, Lily standing on his feet between them. "You already gave me everything I wanted," Emma said. "Humor me." He pulled out an envelope. Inside was a deed. "The community center in Washington Heights. I know you've been volunteering there, teaching art to kids. Now it's yours. Well, ours, to run however you want." Emma stared at the papers. "Daniel, this is too much." "Nothing is too much for the woman who saved us." He kissed her softly. "Besides, Lily wants to help with the art classes." "I'm going to teach them about defense mechanisms," Lily announced. "Of course you are," Emma laughed, tears streaming down her face. "I love you both so much." "We love you too," they said in unison, then dissolved into giggles at their synchronization. Later, as the party wound down, Emma found herself on the same bench where she'd first comforted a scared little girl. So much had changed, yet the heart of it remained the same, love given freely, without conditions or expectations. "Penny, for your thoughts." Daniel sat beside her, Lily asleep in his arms. "Just thinking about how I almost walked away, how I almost let fear keep me from this. But you didn't. You were brave enough to stay, to love us despite the complications. You were brave too, brave enough to let me in to change everything for Lily. For us," he corrected. "Everything changed for the better the day you entered our lives." Emma leaned into him, careful not to wake Lily. "Remember what you wrote in that note, the morning after we met the first time. Sometimes the universe puts two people exactly where they need to be," he quoted. "You were talking about that night, but I think you were really talking about the park, about Lily finding me, or me finding her." "Finding each other," Daniel agreed. "All three of us, exactly where we needed to be." As if sensing she was being discussed, Lily stirred. "Mommy?" she said sleepily. The adoption papers had been filed that morning, another wedding gift. "Are we home?" Emma's heart swelled as it did every time Lily called her that. "We're home, baby. We're all home." And they were, not just in the townhouse with its perfect walls and priceless art, but in each other. A family built not on blood or obligation, but on choice and love and the courage to reach out to a scared little girl on a park bench. Sometimes the greatest love stories begin not with grand gestures or perfect meetings, but with simple human kindness, with seeing someone who needs help and choosing to stay, with being brave enough to trust, to love, to become the family you were always meant to be. 2 years later, when Lily's little brother arrived, adopted because, as Emma said, the best families are the ones you choose, Lily appointed herself his protector. "Don't worry, baby James," she whispered to him. "I'll teach you all about defense mechanisms. And Mommy will always stay," she promised, "and Daddy will love you forever, and we'll have ice cream sometimes for breakfast, but don't tell Daddy I told you that." Daniel and Emma, listening from the doorway, exchanged smiles. "Still think you hired the wrong nanny?" Emma teased. "Best mistake I never made," Daniel replied, pulling her close. "Though technically, Lily hired you. I just had the good sense not to let you go." "Best decision we ever made," Lily announced, clearly not as asleep as they'd thought. "Now can we have a sister too?" "Let's master 2 kids first," Emma laughed. "Okay," Lily agreed, "but I'm making a list for when we're ready." "Of course you are," Daniel said fondly, "my little CEO in training." "Nope," Lily said firmly. "I'm going to run the community center with Mommy. We're going to teach all the kids about art and bugs and being brave." "That sounds perfect," Emma said. "Absolutely perfect." And it was. Not the life any of them had planned, but the one they'd built together. A poor nanny, a scared little girl, and a lonely CEO who learned that sometimes the best things in life come from taking chances, from choosing love over fear, from believing that family is more than DNA. It's the people who show up, who stay, who love you even when you're messy or scared or imperfect. It's the people who find you when you're lost and promise to never let you go, and they never did. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe and share it with someone who needs to be reminded that love comes in many forms and the best families are often the ones we choose. Remember, sometimes a single act of kindness can change everything. Until next time, keep believing in love, in second chances, and in the power of choosing to stay.